let's just sew whatever.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are making the Simona? It's the Sirona, I'm so sorry. My Simona. No, anyway. Crossbody bag from SewGnar Pattern Co. This is such a cute bag. My zipper is a little bit wavy. I don't think I ironed it quite enough, but you can always just kind of give it a little massage. It is a super quick and simple little crossbody and clutch. There are two different sizes within the pattern. Here it has one zippered pocket inside. You could also add more pockets or add no pockets if you wanted. I love these little strap anchors on the side. I think they're super fun. They give you a chance to play with color, play with edge coat, while also being still super quick. I'm always a fan of Nicole's patterns, as she does craft shows and sells bags for a living, so you know that her patterns are geared more towards the maker who sells versus the maker who's just trying to challenge themselves and gifts their, but you know, I feel like there's different makers of us. Anyway, I did use Cork Accents on this bag. This is not included in the pattern, but I do kind of show you how I made it up. And then I used SewFuse Plus from Castine Handcrafted on this water resistant canvas exterior fabric. And then my lining fabric is just a really lightweight, the water resistant canvas that I have on my website every once in a while. And then all of the hardware is from my website as well. So be sure to grab your copy of the pattern. I'll have that linked down below, and enjoy the tutorial. So I did a super quick time lapse of cutting it out. I added these overlay pieces that I cut out of cork as a fun accent. I also cut my crossbody strap out of cork and my connectors out of cork. And then my zipper overlay I also cut out of cork. I'm using SewFuse Plus to interface my water resistant canvas, and then I'm using water resistant canvas without interfacing for the lining of the bag, just to make it really lightweight and not super heavy. I'm not going to worry about edge coating that, but you absolutely could. But what I'm going to do is just lay that over the corner. If your piece is not equidistant, you're going to want to make sure that you mirror the piece as you're cutting it. So cut two with it up, cut two with it down. Okay, the piece was not equidistant, and I have one that might not be right. Okay, those will match up. Those won't match up, but I can kind of fudge it to match up, so that's okay. Cool. So I'm just kind of adjusting the curve because this dart gets sewn up anyway, so I can kind of make up for that way. But I really thought this bag needed a little accent of something, since I'm making mine out of all water resistant canvas. I've interfaced it with SewFuse Plus, and then I'm using water resistant canvas for the lining. So this is a base that I sell. It's thinner than waterproof canvas. It doesn't have that PVC backing, but like I said, it still resists water. It just doesn't completely waterproof the bag. I feel like 2 layers is good enough, but anyway. What's great about Nicole's patterns is the linings are usually a separate pattern piece that are made smaller, so that you don't have to worry about increasing your seam allowances, etc. as you're sewing the bag. We're using a zipper overlay, which means there are 2 pocket pieces. One is cut longer, that goes to the top. One is cut shorter, that goes to the bottom. And that goes on the inside, but you could absolutely add that kind of a pocket to the outside of the bag as well. I've saved my interior piece that I cut away. You could actually use this for at least one of your crossbody strap connectors that go on the side of the bag, but I'm gonna save it and use it as like a zipper pull. I think that would be really cool. Cork is super expensive. And then I did cut out my crossbody strap as Nicole suggested it to be, 1.5. And the way she does her straps is she will fold one side over to be 1/2 inch, and then she'll fold the other side over to 1/2 inch. So it's a tri-folded strap. You will have a bit of a raw edge, but it's a good way to make a strong cork strap without using up a ton of cork because it is so expensive. But yeah, that is pretty much all of the pattern pieces. We've got our exterior panels, 2 of those cut from the pattern piece. I've got my inner facing on the exterior, not the lining. I have my strap anchors. I have 4 total pieces that are cut to 2 inches by 1/2 inch. I've got my zipper overlay piece, lining pocket top, lining pocket bottom, and my strap. So that is all that you need for the crossbody size, and I just kind of went through the measurements and pieces as they are given. So the only hardware we need is, let me grab that really quick. So I've got 2 1/2 inch slim D rings. I've got 2 1/2 inch snap hooks, and I don't have any slide adjusters in my house, so I just won't have a slide adjuster for the strap. And then we'll need a total of 2 zipper pulls and then a little bit of zipper by the yard. All right, so I'm going to work on edge coating. Within the pattern, Nicole has a bunch of little notes like, okay, if you're at this part, do this now, which I think is hilarious. So this is 3/8 inch wide double-sided tape. This might work a little bit better. So all I'm doing is taping together these little pieces. I'm sure Nicole uses glue. Nicole also has a video tutorial, as this is her pattern, of course. So feel free to check hers out. She has some great tips with working with cork, fabric, as she is, I would call her an expert, a cork expert. I believe the cork that I'm using is from Fabric Funhouse. That's where Nicole purchases a lot of hers. So I have also purchased from there as well. We want to trim these to be as even as possible on all sides. And then there's a little pattern piece that we'll use. I just love Nicole's like signature corners, these little notched corners. And I'm pretty sure she just like freehand cuts these and they're magical. So just a quick snip. So I am using edge coat that I've purchased from Fabric Funhouse. And Nicole has a coupon code. I'm sure I'll have all those links down below. Thank you, Alex. So I am just clipping the pattern piece, little template, into place, giving myself plenty of room to get my scissors in there and just make that little snip through both layers of cork. You can absolutely do this with a vinyl as well. Well, that looks terrible. I cut one a little too far. So we're gonna take these to the machine really quick to top stitch all the way around. It might be a little tricky on my industrial, but we'll get through it. And then we'll add the base coat dents. We're gonna add a few layers of that. Make sure you stir it up. And I'm going to be using this edge roller. This is also from Fabric Funhouse. They have like this huge kit. But if yours starts to not work as well, as long as you don't have edge coat all over it, you can actually screw the top off. Or is it the base? Ah, it's the base. You can screw the base off. And you can add some more oil, etc., because this is a rolling tool. So you can add some more oil to it and make sure that you get the rolly piece back in where it should go. And then you can screw that bottom back on. I'm going to use a stitch length of 4. And the size of this piece is a little bit tricky on an industrial, but what I'm doing is just hand cranking into the corners to get that piece as close as possible. And another thing you can do, I know Linds Handmade has some connectors in her patterns where you stitch using a connector piece and then trim everything away. So you might be able to cut this to like 3/4 of an inch wide, stitch it out, and then cut it to be the same size along all edges. So I may even still, you can kind of see how it's uneven. Just kind of trim it to match a little bit better because it's not great, but it's not bad. There we go. Nicole sews all of her bags on a domestic machine. So this bag is very much a domestic friendly bag, as are all of her patterns. So definitely check them out if you haven't before. Oh my gosh, this piece is cut so terribly. That's okay. Edge coat will kind of fix it. Not really, but we'll try. All right, got this mixed up. I always have trouble with this. Like, you want to make sure you clean it as much as possible after you use it last, so that it doesn't gunk up the sides. And probably you shouldn't shake it because then it could get around the rim too. You should probably just, yeah, oh well. So I'm just gonna do a really light coat of the base coat. I am in no way an edge coat expert. I do enjoy using edge coat, but I feel like it's so time consuming, so I try to just avoid the need for it. And you can use clips to help hold your project up. So that you can get all edges at once. Each coat takes probably 10 to 15 minutes to dry, depending on how thick you make those coats. Boom. Boom. Okay. First step is going to be to make the strap. And I'm just going to use double-sided tape. You could also make a single fold strap, more or less, where you just fold a 1-inch piece, raw ends into the center. You can do that with leather, so I'm sure it's the same with cork. But I'm just centering my tape. Probably could have used a 3/8 inch wide, but I'm so used to folding into the center. All right, I'm gonna put my stitch length up to 5, and then we're just gonna fold the other edge on top as I go. And you can clip it before you start if you want, but you could also use pre-made webbing. I know Wonderground fabric sells 1/2 inch wide seatbelt webbing, so that would make a quick strap. There we go. So what I'm doing is pushing against my strap this way, and then pushing on the extra fabric the other way, just to hold in place. There we go. And then that other edge is really quick. Then I'm going to trim off my excess fabric to even up the edges. And then I'm probably going to wait to complete my strap so that I have a slide adjuster. But what you'd do is you would attach one end to your slide adjuster and then add your snap hook to this side, slide it up and down through your slider. This end has your snap hook, this has your slider, and then you're gonna add your other snap hook to this end here. And then that's it, you're done. Just so I can show the bag completed, I'm going to clip these snap hooks in place, but I'm not gonna rivet them on or anything like that. And you definitely don't need an adjustable strap, especially for a bag of this size, but I think the option is nice. So cute. Okay, this bag needs a total of 2 zipper pulls. Go ahead and attach those really quick. So I am using a zipper jig that I designed to attach the pulls. So I'm using this fun dice pull for the inside zipper pocket. Come on. There we go. And then I'm going to use a pop tab zipper pull me go get one. I forgot to mention in the intro for this pattern that we'll also need a little zipper end piece. Screw on. Oh. Alright, so our zippers are prepped so we can move on to working on the overlay piece for the lining. And the first time I made one of Nicole's patterns with this, I was oh so confused. It is not that complicated, but when it's something new, it is that complicated. So I'm gonna fold this in half to find the center. We're going to tape that down. We want that 1 1/4 inch down from the interior. So I'm going to add double-sided tape just to the exterior, closest to the exterior. Inch and a quarter. All right, and then we're gonna sew around the outside edge only. Doesn't seem very straight to me, so I'm just kind of fixing it. Stitch length set to 4 is probably best so that we can go along the outside of those corners very nicely. You could also follow, or I should say you could use any pattern overlay. If you don't love this shape, you could use another pattern's overlay. There we go. The water-resistant canvas is a little bit thin for industrials, so keep that in mind. I always like to just kind of pull on the fabric a little bit to make up for that. All right, so now we can cut away all of the fabric inside the pocket. So I like to just take my seam ripper to cut that away, and then a little pair of snips or a little pair of scissors, and just carefully trim away. And you want to be really careful that you're not like cutting away at anything you shouldn't be cutting away, you know what I mean? Just be careful. Try to drag your scissors as best you can, and that will prevent you from cutting through anything that you shouldn't. Okay. So now the longer piece for your lining is going to go behind the zipper here. And what Nicole does is she actually glues the fabric to the zipper, I'm just gonna use double-sided tape. And then fold that up and out of the way. And I'm probably gonna just press this with my iron. And then I'll add double-sided tape to the other side. And this one gets the shorter piece. And then we'll just press that open using our iron. Okay, I've got that ironed in place. We're gonna lay it down like that. I'm gonna use some double-sided tape. Here. We want to center that. I'm going to top stitch starting over here. Come down and around. And now before I go too far, I'm gonna bring my zipper pull in. Make sure to give yourself plenty of room. I'm gonna kind of re-zip it, hold my zipper teeth in place, and that is so that the zipper doesn't go wonky. And then you fold the top piece down. And they should meet up pretty close. So what I'm gonna do is flip this over and sew down this side. You wanna sew through all of the layers. And what I'm gonna do is flip this piece up to create a nice top stitchable piece of fabric when we turn the bag through this pocket. And then I'll trim off that excess. And then right now I'm going to go and do another layer of edge coat to our strap connectors on the side of the bag. And then I'll show you what this looks like when you open it. You've got a nice edge that will top stitch shut. To prepare my zipper, so this is a 12-inch piece of zipper by the yard. We want to angle the top edge. I'm just using my lighter to kind of melt it, to hold it together. And that doesn't fully hold it, but it holds it well enough. And then I'm gonna use a clip to help me keep it that way. If you're worried it'll be too hot to touch, you can use the base of your lighter to help you hold it. It's usually not too terrible. So yeah, then we'll just set it aside, looking like that. I'm gonna top stitch my little corner pieces on. I'm gonna use a 4.5 stitch length. And for this, I would wanna go all the way around. So that it doesn't lift at the darts. I might be able to skip. Yeah, I think it would be okay if you did not sew through it at the darts. And if you glue it on instead, you probably wouldn't even have to stay stitch the outside. Ooh, and I bet this bag would look really cool with piping as well. Maybe I'll make another one, but like if you just did piping around the bottom edge, I wonder how that would work. You'd have to do it after you folded in your corners, but still totally doable. If you're gonna add a nameplate, now would be a really good time. So I'm gonna do that really quick. This one, ooh, no, this one seems really good for that. So I'm gonna fold this in half, find my center. There we go. It's like I'm kind of trying to find the center between the overlay pieces too. And then taking a hole punch, or sorry, my seam ripper. Oh yeah, that's very cute. That's exciting. All right, the zipper by the yard now. And we want to make marks 1.5 inches from each side of the top edge. Which is like just after that curve starts. Might even be just at the curve. Yeah, it's like just at that curve. And we'll take some double-sided tape. This is just insurance, more or less. I'm gonna start with this panel here. I did already attach my zipper pull. I'm gonna see if that is to my detriment or if it works out. I don't know. I don't like to attach the zipper pull after because I'm not very good at like lining them up perfectly, but it's not too terrible. So starting with this side, because it has my zipper pull, I want to start there. And you want your zipper to trail off just after the curve. So I'm gonna do a really quick just stay stitch right at the edge. Again, let that just trail off. And then we can add our lining panel to that as well. If you want to use a little bit more double-sided tape, you totally can. And then this time we want to sew across the entire top edge. Make sure this little piece, your tail of zipper tape, is out of that seam allowance, and this is 1/4 inch. Or as close to it as you can get. I'm just gonna do a little bobbin dumping and use a different color because I'm probably gonna run out before I do any kind of top stitching anyway, and I don't think anyone will notice. All right. And then this doesn't get top stitched until later, so yeah, I probably have to take off my zipper pull. Dang it. Because we kind of sew everything together. All right, taking it off, doing it. Oh, that hurts. So then on this side, we want to start at that mark. You want to make sure that your zipper teeth are face down on the exterior of the bag. Well, what's nice is it's going to be really easy to attach. Like, it's going to be really easy to sew this all down because you don't have your zipper pull in the way. All right, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I don't feel like I need to baste my zipper into place. All right, we're gonna sew our darts now. This is going to be a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you're just gonna fold it on itself, follow a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Back stitch at the start and the stop. So there are my exterior darts sewn, and now I will do the lining. Make sure you're looking at the pattern or the pieces before you top stitch your darts for the lining, especially if you're using something that you don't know which way is the exterior and which way is the lining. You know what I mean? Like, which way is right? I can't tell. Last one. So. All right, now it's just exteriors together, linings together. I'm gonna grab a bunch of clips. Make sure that your zipper ends that trailed off match up to the same side of the bag. Otherwise, that's pretty much bad news. Butterfly these open if you can. And I'm lining up my accent pieces as best as I can, as well as my side panels. Make sure that these pieces stay out of your seam allowance, your zipper pieces. Fold the top edges toward the lining. Okay. That's what I thought. I haven't made like a zipper pouch in a long time. Bag is gonna be so cute. One thing I love about Nicole's patterns is she does a lot of craft shows and sells pretty much all of her makes. So buying patterns from someone with that mindset, they have that craft show prep. You know, you want it to be a desirable product while still being quick to make. So I love Nicole's patterns for that reason. So because we have our zipper pocket in this bag, there isn't a zipper pocket in the clutch size, but there is in the crossbody size. We don't have to worry about leaving an opening within the lining, which is nice. So we're just gonna sew all the way around the bag. And like I said, you don't need to adjust your seam allowances as you're sewing your lining, because Nicole makes her linings smaller as a pattern piece. And now to combat the fact that the water resistant canvas is too thin for my machine, I'm just going to apply a little extra tension, some more surface tension, and pull on the fabrics as I'm sewing. That may not work for all machines, but it works for mine. And then again, make sure, oh, I just hit my zipper tape. Just barely. Oh, good, I just missed it. I was about to, but make sure that's out of the way. Okay, here we go. Close call. And then you can trim down your seam allowances, especially right in this area. That'll help your side seams lay flat. I'm not going to worry about cutting my lining fabric because my lining is really thin, but here is our zipper pocket open. Push exterior out first. And then I'm taking my hand in a fisted motion to press along the exterior edges. Push open those side seams. Push open those darts. Do the same for the lining. You just want to make sure that everything is looking good. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. All right, so now we can sew our zipper pocket shut. You can see because of the way we sewed it together, we've got this nice little edge. We can just sew down the whole thing. And then I'm going to just push that back into the bag and zip that up so that I know it's done. Okay. so now it's time to top stitch. My side connectors, my strap anchors are still a little wet, so I can't attach those, or I can't finish them, I should say. So we're gonna pull the zipper out of the seam, kind of finger press everything. You can use your iron to completely press it. I'm actually gonna do that, pressing it from the lining side so I don't hit the cork. I don't know if it would hurt the cork, but why risk it? There we go. I'm gonna start on the side here. So yeah, it would not be easy to top stitch this if your zipper pull was attached. So just keep that in mind. Unless you left your zipper tape really, really long, then maybe. I don't know though. And you really want to make sure that your lining is folded out of the way as much as possible as you're doing this top stitch, because if it gets too close to your zipper teeth, you're not going to be able to zip your bag easily. So keep that in mind. And if you wanted to attach your D-rings and your strap anchors by sewing them in before you add your zipper pull, you could definitely do that because of how wide this opens. So you could just kind of top stitch them on. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. And then I really can't add my zipper pull or my end cap until my strap anchors are done. So keep that in mind if you're gonna make this bag. You wanna add those, or you wanna finish those before you get to this step. If you wanna just, you know, be done with it. Oh man, white would be so much fun. I'm gonna do black. White would look really cute, but I know I'm gonna mess it up. So you wanna make sure you shake it pretty good. They also include a stirring stick in some of the kits, so you could use that if you don't wanna use a shaking motion. Definitely keep a rag around if need be. In case you get messy fingers, you don't want that when you're touching your item. If you need to sand your edges, now is a good time. I don't know that I would recommend just keeping the clear edge coat. I think you're probably going to want to add some color. And you don't need a super thick coat of this. It can be pretty thin. And then I would say you're gonna wanna give that a good 30 minutes to dry. Oh, I was like, did I just get black all over my face? Yeah, whatever. keep your clips on opposite ends. Keep your fingers really clean. That's a good idea. Okay. So you'll know when it's close to being dry because it's not so glossy. Like this one has mattified quite a bit and this one is still shiny in areas. So I gotta wait a little bit longer. Okay, so now we're going to take our template piece and I'm gonna grab my hole punch. I'm gonna go ahead and clip this into place. We're gonna line up your seam line and your top stitch line on the bag. And then we're gonna just rivet through the exterior and lining. And you're doing this for each side. You don't wanna go through the whole thing. You don't wanna rivet it shut like that. You want it to be 1 and 2 rivets. We'll repeat that on the other side. It's always really scary to me to like finish a bag and then poke a hole through it. I'm using 9x9 rivets. The pattern calls for, I believe, 7mm rivets. I don't think it's too crucial what size you use. And then I think, so my connector's still a little bit wet. I am going to poke my holes in a place that feels good, feels right. And I'm gonna get 4 rivets ready. Nickel rivets. I have some older rivets that are actually like 9mm by 7 posts. I don't know why I grabbed so many. I only need 4. It's fine. So we're gonna add our D-ring. Okay, it's still a little bit wet, but it's not too wet. Just want to be careful sliding that in there. So I'm going to put the post in through the bottom, go through my connector piece, add my cap, and repeat on the other side. So we're going through the lining, through the exterior, through our tab, and adding the cap. So then I'm going to use my press over here to set that. I am using a KAMSnaps Press and the Buckle Guy die to set this. Look how cool that is. We're a little bit washed out because of the light right there, but it's fine. And we'll just repeat that on the other side. So if you don't have rivets or you aren't a fan of this connector, you could absolutely just add a little D-ring into that side seam. But it's kind of fun to do something different. Oh, I already added that. Again, if your edge coat isn't dry, please wait for it to dry when you do yours. I'm just fully aware of what I'm doing and that it's wrong. And I'm choosing not to care. Oh! And that's the universe saying, well, you should. Just make sure that if you get any edge coat on your fingers to shake it off before touching anything. Okay. So now we need to get our zipper pull back on and our zipper end attached. So I'm going to use my zipper jig, zipper helper. If you are good at doing this with your hands, this is not a tool that you need. I'm not good at doing this with my hands. So what's kind of fun is that the shape of the tool kind of mimics the angle at which you need to insert. Oh, we did it. Nice. Okay. Oh my god, how cute is this? Okay, so now we're going to attach our zipper end. I've already taken a lighter to that piece, so I'm just going to fold my zipper under like that. You can add a bunch of glue into the cap if you want. I'm using the XL zipper caps that I designed. Hold please. I will never find that. I'm not even gonna try. So then we'll screw in the hardware. I use an electric screwdriver, but then I'm too impatient, so I also kind of hand crank it. For a second, I thought I hadn't attached my zipper end. Okay. I don't think my zipper looks too wonky, but these kind of curved zips can have a tendency to look a little wonky at times. So now I'm going to take this scrap of cork. You can actually do several ways. You could just slip it through, but I don't know if sometimes scarves, you can add that loop, pull it through, and then you could add a rivet through that. I love how those were just a string of words that might make sense to somebody, might not. But you can attach it that way, and then it's kind of like a little scarf for your zipper. But if you're going to do that, I would highly recommend gluing it. I wouldn't glue it to your hardware, but I would glue it to itself if that's how you want to do it, because it can come loose. But this is kind of a cute way to use up a scrap, and then it's optional if somebody wants to have it on their bag or not, more or less. Oh my gosh, I can't with how freaking cute this is. But that is the Sirona clutch and crossbody from SewGnar patterns. It is absolutely adorable. I could see this being made so many different ways. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to check out Nicole's channel if you haven't already. She also has a Patreon where you get first access to her sewing patterns, which is pretty exciting, I'm not gonna lie.